Right, maybe I've got the camera the right way around, because I've noticed that most of my blogs are just like pissed. I've talked about cancer, and I've talked about things that have happened to start my experience off of it, but what I yet haven't talked about is mental health and what it's like to live with mental health. It's very, very hard, and it's very, very real, and I just want people, especially GPs, doctors, professionals who don't work with mental health, I want you to realise that it's just really real. I've just had a bit of an attack. I've had some medication to calm myself down. I had palpitations right here in my chest, and it started off with this pain that I've got on my scar. And my arm went cold, and my chest went tight. I began to feel sick, and this is what I've lived with on a day-to-day basis. And it's not a lie, on a day-to-day basis. I have, you know, I think there's about 29 symptoms of anxiety, and I must have suffered about 27 of them at one time. Losing my appetite, feeling sick, teary, stomach cramps, joint pains, and a lot of these symptoms are related to my cancer, and that's probably why doctors have found it so hard to diagnose me. It's taken them 2.5 years. Debatable, but you know, I was labelled with suffering depression. They said it started off with postnatal depression. Whether it did, I don't really know. All I know is that I've been my moods are either very, very really high, or they're very low. Never got anything in between. Describing mental health, it's very hard to live with. I think it's one of the hardest things. I think I'm finding mental health harder to live with than I am cancer, and that's the honest truth. But then again, I'm at the beginning of my experience with the cancer, so I really can't compare the two right now. Depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia, they all come under mental health, and none of them are nice to live with. None of them are nice. I know it's not been nice for my kids to live with. My mood swings are all up and down most of the time, and I've got no control of when I get feelings, when I get sensations running through my body and through the back of my neck and through my brain, and my brain goes into overload because of too much thinking. And then you always, I don't know if it's because I'm a negative person or whether it's natural for anxiety, but you always think the worst. Because that's what the chemical in your brain does, it brings you down. I'm feeling quite sick at the moment. My mood's I'm feeling quite stressed. I've got chest pains. I want to go to sleep and I don't want to wake up, is the feeling that I've got right now. But I've got pins and needles in my hands, in my arms, in my legs. It's not nice at all. It's so real as well, and it's just not nice. But it's about gaining control of it. You have to try and gain some kind of control over it, otherwise it controls you, and if you let it control you, then you can be really sick. And if you've got a family, it's not nice for them to watch. For the kids, it's absolutely traumatic. I've let it take over me twice and ended up having 2 nervous breakdowns. My first one wasn't bad. Stayed at home, had lots of healthcare around me. GPs put me on medication. I had my health visitor coming daily. I had midwives coming daily. I had the doctors coming every other day, so I was okay. Treated at home, much better. Second time around, I was 35, and I had to ask my mum to come and nurse me because I'd lost an incredible amount of weight. But I think because there was a change going on in my body that my body was trying to tell me about, that's why I ended up going into mental overload and ended up having my second nervous breakdown. It's not nice. Anything can trigger it. One minute you can be okay, you know, going out shopping, or just as an example, on my youngest daughter's 10th birthday, she wanted to go to Pizza Hut for a meal and the cinema as her event, because that year they had a meal and event that they could choose for their birthdays. And went to Pizza Hut. I thought I was okay, that I could do it, and then as we ordered the meal, I felt the sickness rise from the pit of my stomach, and it just came up, and then I had cold sensations running up my neck that were real, and I just knew I needed to go home straight away, and I ended up walking out before the meal had been brought to the table because I didn't want to spoil my daughter's birthday by falling asleep on the table. And then the kids carried on with the meal, and I just raced straight home, and I went straight up to bed, and I put my music on. I tend to listen to some soft, relaxing kind of music that tends to help my body settle and my brain settle down to a level that I can focus and get myself back on track where I need to be, either to drop off to sleep or to continue on with my day. On this day, I needed to sleep. Classical relaxation music just to chill me out. And then the kids came back from their pizza meal and came back home to get changed, ready to go to the cinema. I woke up all nice and refreshed, absolutely fantastic, got myself dressed up, put makeup on. Me and the girls did our hair and makeups together. We all started walking to the cinema, everything's fine. And then I'm just doing a blog.
Okay.
I'll be out in a minute. Going to the cinema, I start feeling sick, I start getting the chest pains, I start getting the pins and needles feelings in my hand, the butterfly feeling in my stomach gets wider. I think if you're a sufferer, you can understand that. I can't be the only one that's suffered with it. I'm edgy, I'm tense. The more I try to control it, the worse it becomes. I start losing my breath, feel like I'm suffocating, I feel like my chest is being squashed together, chest pains, shoulder and neck pains. This was after we bought the cinema tickets and I found our seat in the cinema, and I just had to run home. Ran home as quick as I could, and then I didn't wake up for about 2 days after that because I couldn't. I just physically couldn't wake up. I'd wake up, you know, have a quick drink, but I'd wake up in sleep, drink, back down, shut off. That's the only way I could deal with it, was just by shutting off. And it's been a terrible experience for my kids. Terrible to see their mum constantly asleep. And it's really funny because when I went to see my consultant who's going to start me on my chemotherapy, he was describing all these things to me. I'm going to have, you know, joint ache when I start chemotherapy. I'm going to be hot, I'm going to be cold. I might have chest pains. I've got to watch my temperature. I've got to watch my weight because of the steroids, things like that. It's like I've already lived it. He was telling me what I've already lived for the past like 3 years, 2.5 to 3 years, which was quite peculiar really. But anyway, back to anxiety and mental health. Just because you suffer with all these symptoms with this condition, and it is a condition, and I don't want anybody thinking it's anything less than that, because it is a condition. It's hard. People think because you have panic attacks. I'm one myself. I was skeptic myself. You're having a panic attack. You're attention seeking. And that's what people, you know, because that's what you think. Because that's what it looks like. I used to look at people all the time and think, oh God, such a drama queen. Or such a drama king. You know, overreacting. Hello. But honest to God, it is so real. It is so real. And you've got no control over it. And it's very hard to get that control. I find relaxing music, sometimes lying in a bath, can help relax you in muscle relaxant, like Radox or something like that. But it is very real, people. It is very real. And just because they are, and just because we're no different to anybody else, to be honest. I'm separating the good and the bad and the ugly and the beautiful now, and that's wrong, because mental health sufferers are no different to anybody else. Only we're just treated differently, because you're nuts, you're psychotic. I've had all that thrown at me. And I suppose that's just the way society's going. They judge people before they actually know them, and I do feel that that's what a lot of professions do. And just because they're panicking about something doesn't mean to say that they are overreacting or that it isn't real. I've panicked, I've been hysterical, I've passed out because of wanting to know what was wrong with me. I needed to know there was something wrong with me, and I knew it wasn't just anxiety. I knew it wasn't just depression. I knew it wasn't just a mental health condition. I knew there was something wrong with me, and I think that made my anxiety worse. That's not to say that everybody that suffers with a mental health condition has got something medically wrong with them. We all know our own bodies at the end of the day. We all know how our own bodies work, and really, honestly, truly, if you are a sufferer and you do suffer with all those symptoms, please try some techniques to relieve those symptoms, which I'm hoping that I can share with you in further blogs to keep you watching, because they do help. And then once you've relaxed and calmed those symptoms down from suffering with either depression or anxiety, and there's something still left, then you know that there's something more wrong. But until you try to heal or calm your anxiety and lift your mood of depression, then you're absolutely fine. and it's normal to feel the way you do. There's a lot of people that suffer with it, and so you're not on your own. I opened up a private chat blog on one of my many Facebooks. People know that I've had a lot of Facebook pages, but my recent one is my final one. My new one is my final one. And I've met a lot of people online who've been anxiety sufferers, who I've carried over to my new Facebook with me, who I still have contact with, and I love them dearly, even though I've never actually met them. But I suppose I'm doing this awareness for them as well, because GPs don't listen to people when they see that you're registered as being depressed or having chronic anxiety disorder. And I think GPs need to listen a little bit more, have a little bit more patience, a little bit more understanding about what this illness is all about, because it is an illness and it's very real. I'm just blabbing on now, so I think I'm just going to leave it there. But thanks for watching, and I'll blog again soon and probably be a little bit more with it. It's only because I've just suffered a bit of an attack myself that scared me, because you don't know what to do. You don't know if it's real and you don't know if it's not when you have an anxiety attack. And that's the big thing. I don't want to be wasting anybody's time if it's just an anxiety attack. So that's what set off for me to blog tonight. It's the 11th of March, and it's a little after 6:30 I think now. Oh, actually no, it's 5 to 7 in the evening. You lose a lot of time and a lot of days when you're a sufferer as well. And not medication doesn't always put it right, but for those of you that do suffer, you have to persist with the medication and keep trying until you find the right one. Please just keep trying. Give it at least four weeks of taking your medication regular to see if it works for you. Some of it will be very, very hard and it's like a brick wall, but what you got to do is climb that brick wall with no equipment, and there's beautiful sunshine and green fields over the other side, and that's what you've got to think of. So yeah, I'll speak to you again soon. Bye.